you start cutting holes into it. In this case, really big holes. Thanks to my brand new composite camper here. In fear, cutting a big hole, two really big holes in the side of my brand new camper. So now I'm going to move forward and cutting these two big garage door openings. That's a big one. Remeasured. Drill, 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 drill. 4 drills. Cut, 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 cut. Sure hope this works out. Okay, let's try to do this.
And there it is, the first big cut through the sidewall. Now it's time to keep cutting these out and get these garage doors in. And you'll see here, alignment is absolutely key. These cuts have to be perfect, right on center, on the line. And also, to add a little bit of challenge to it too, is I have to basically go and back cut back up to those corners and go all the way down to the bottom of the corners as well. And that going backwards up into the corners, obviously the blade can catch, it's not ideal, but it's the only way I can really work it out with this kind of a saw going in there. And like I talked about before in my previous videos, it was better to do it this way than doing it with a jigsaw for a lot of different reasons I talked about in that video.
All right, most of these cuts are already done, and so let's hope they're all in the right place. Now I'm really scared because I got the last big cut to do, and this is a scary one. Right down here, right along the extrusion. I'm going to try to cut it literally right up against the extrusion without cutting the extrusion at all or messing it up. So I may have to go just a little bit above it, and that's going to be, it's going to be frightening, no doubt about it. But I've got to do it to get this garage door in the way I want it and get the maximum height of the garage door for bikes and other gear. So I'm going to try to cut all the way down right from this corner and right along the top of this extrusion all the way across. So it's a little bit of frightening cut, and I'm going to come back later with a multi-tool. I'll say multi-tool to cut down to the floor level and cut up to this extrusion and take that interior piece out, because I won't, but anyways, that's I'll go into that more in detail, but I'll come out later. But at least this garage door is getting really close to coming out. Just have a little jigsaw section to cut here with the jigsaw because I couldn't get the circular saw in here, so I've got to do that, and there may just be a tiny little bit of jigsaw to get down to these bottoms here as well, because again the circular saw can't get quite down to the bottoms from the inside or outside. So a little bit of jigsaw just to finish that up, and that should be it. Should be ready to push this big garage door, big opening out. Here we go. I'm scared.
And as you can see, dust collection is absolutely key when cutting into these walls to minimize all that dust buildup. Now the purpose of these plunge cuts into the wall here are not to cut through the extrusion specifically to stay away from it, but just simply to separate the wall from the floor area, so that way I can have essentially a garage door that opens up at the floor level, and that's what I'm doing here. So I'm not cutting into the extrusions at all and making sure that's not happening by the length of the blade.
Pretty exciting, momentous moment here. The wall is, this garage door is pretty much cut and free, with the exception of the bottom here, because I can only cut down the extrusion, and the extrusion is like here on the outside, and this is the floor on the inside. All right, so I've been able to cut here and into here from the floor, and now I'm going to push the wall in and basically plunge cut down into here, and so I can break this wall free, this section of the garage door, and get it free and inside. Here we go. Woo! Well, I think we did it. It actually turned out really well. Much better than expected. Just exactly as I wanted, right up against the floor, out to the outside of the extrusion here. That's pretty perfect. I am thrilled. It's as good as it can be. So now I gotta check all the dimensions, get the extrusions in there. Hopefully it's all good. I think it's good. I think it works. Check out this big garage door. How about this, huh? That's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome.
Of course, I now need to repeat the same thing for the other side to match and mirror these two side garage doors. So here we go.
I did it. I cut 2 really big holes in the side of my camper. I know, it's an accomplishment. It's actually been really hard. I've been struggling with it for a long time. I was worried about it. It ended up turning out okay. So what do you do when you get a brand new Total Composites box all built up, you got your design all figured out? Oh my gosh, you start putting these big holes into it. And not just holes, but a walkthrough hole. That is enormous. And this right here is to support my gear garage, the bed platform, bringing it in. So over there is going to be another garage door. Here's going to be a garage door, and this is going to be a big, massive gear garage, which you got to have gear when you go in the outdoors. You got to have gear to have fun. It's been a lot of work, but that one got cut perfectly and straight, beautiful, perfect. Practice makes perfect. Time to get to work. Let's get these glued in, this bed platform in.